a year ago, 2 years ago, I wouldn't get a phone call back. It
Right.
was so hard to get a broker on the phone to just to answer questions about a property, just to tell me what's the price guidance, and they won't
Yep.
reply. Those same brokers are calling me, leaving voicemails. They're hunting me now.
Hi, my name is Rod Khleif, and I'm host of the Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing podcast. Now, each week I interview multifamily rock stars, and we talk about how they've built incredible wealth for themselves and their families through multifamily properties. So hit the like and subscribe buttons and get notified every Monday when a new episode comes out. Let's get to it. Welcome back to Multifamily Rock Stars. And so, as you guys know, these are the episodes where we dive deep into guest deals and really give you some practical and actionable items and strategies for getting started and doing your first deal, especially if you're brand new to multifamily. And I've got my co-host, Mark Nagy, with me here as usual. What's up, Mark?
What's going on, Rod? Happy to be here for another one, and another familiar face here with our guest, Juan.
Yeah. Well, so we've got Juan Cruz today, and the name of his company is Blue Path Holdings, and he comes from information security systems. I guess that's online stuff. We'll have him tell us about it. Welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me here. Hey, Mark. Hey, Rod. Everybody listening. Very excited to be here. This actually was one of my goals to at some point in my life be in here in this podcast with you guys. So I'm
Boom.
very excited about it.
Boom. Good for you. That's awesome, buddy. I love it. Well, listen, why don't you tell us your story? Because I could have given you a little more detail here, but I think you do a much better job than I would. So why don't you tell us who you are, where you came from, why real estate? Just kind of, give us an overview.
Of course, yeah. So I'm an immigrant from South America. I immigrated to the U.S. in 2002, and I just came here with basically my parents brought me here, and I had the American dream, trying to work, get ahead of myself, and do better than my previous generations, right? So I just went into school. I did information security, and I'm an engineer by trade. So I have that analytical mindset, and I like to get into the details of things. And in 2000, about 2008, through that crash, 4 years before, we had purchased our home with my wife, and we were excited about it. And then the crash hit us. We lost the property to a foreclosure, and that's when I said, this is not going to happen to me again. I went deep into studying real estate, and I thought I was going to get into single family, right, and rentals. So I acquired one and then another one, and I realized the overhead was a lot, and I was just managing, and I didn't have time for my W-2. So that's when I started pivoting into I should be able to do these bigger so we can pay management fees and all that. Got into multifamily, started listening to your podcast, Rod. And from there, I joined the Warrior Groups, which was a huge help, a leap that where I was able to get into my first deals, and that's how I ended up in multifamily.
Nice. So I think I know the answer to this, but we like to talk about superpowers on this show. What would you say is your superpower as it relates to this business? Because a lot of different hats you can wear in this business.
Yeah, actually, I like underwriting. I've been since I joined the Warrior. That's what I thought I was going to be focusing on, and I started underwriting. In the last 2 years, I've been underwriting hundreds of deals. But I will tell you, for at least one of the deals, I also joined the team, helping them raise some capital. It was my first time. I didn't know how to do it, and I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing the presentations, trying to get people to get to our podcasts or meetings where we were going to present, and talking to the family and trying to teach people and explaining people how this works so they can make money and all those things. So I kind of enjoyed that. I'm not saying I'm good at it, but yeah.
Okay, were you able to raise a little bit? Were you able to raise a little bit of money?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, then, don't sell yourself short, brother. That's fantastic. Some people can't raise a dime, So now I know you're in some deals, and I believe the first deal you did was as a limited partner. Can you speak to why you did that and the benefits of investing I think with a couple of other warriors. In fact, I know with a couple of other warriors because I love I love one of them. That family is a sweetheart, Yesenia's family. But talk
Great
about
people.
why and what you got out of it.
So I was in the warrior program, and my goal was to get into a GP positions and start doing
Hmm.
GP, but I was hesitant. I guess I've always suffered from not believing I can do it, or syndrome.
Analysis, paralysis, yeah, all of the
Yeah,
above. You're
so I
right.
wanted to get a deep understanding of how things are done. So thanks to the warrior group, I got with Jasenia, with Himan, and other warriors, great people, and they told me, okay, you can be an LP, and we're gonna be doing educational monthly podcast or meetings with other warriors that want to be LP, other people that wants to learn more, and
Yeah,
we'll
not
work.
podcast. It was more webinars, right? She was
Yeah,
doing
like a
webinars.
webinar
Right.
for the investors, and they
Right.
go deep into this is what we're doing, and this is how we run things, this is how you asset manage, this is how we're
Hmm.
doing the property management, this is why we're renting rents, this is why we're fixing this unit or not that one, all that, those details. So once I have that information, it gave me the understanding, and I realized, oh well, it's not that complicated really. You just have to do it and be analytical about it, and execute your plan. So once I was doing that, it was easier to get into a GP after that.
Yeah. So what did you learn? You learned how to asset manage. What specifically got you over the edge?
The asset management part was like, and also we're doing a little bit of property, even property management. So we're going through, okay, we have these section 8 units, and this
Mm.
is how we're renting rents, and this is the actual property manager. We're using one of the tenants that is helping us with the property management and stuff like that. So I realized it's not that different that which I was already doing with single families. It's just scale and probably easier because you have a manager doing that, and you just give them orders and stuff like that. You don't have to do it yourself. So that got me over the hump. And as well, the fear of saying, okay, I'm doing $1 million deals, right? When you see it on paper, you're like, well, this is a $5 million deal. How are we going to do this? But it's just numbers.
Now, how did you go about making these connections? You mentioned, you're in the tech industry, your skill set might have been numbers, underwriting, analytical. So how did you go about even building these connections to get into these first couple of deals and gain that confidence? What are some of, because I get that question all the time, right? It's, hey, I'm
Well,
in IT, I'm an engineer, I'm introverted. How do I be successful in this business?
in the warrior group, it's kind of easy to make those connections because we have the Facebook group. So you're behind the screen, you can post something, and people are going to reply to you and contact you, and then the conversation starts and it develops easier. So that's how I did a lot of connections. Or you go to the boot camps.
Yeah.
Once you're a warrior, you can go to a boot camp and go face to face with people. Uh, the people are over there, everybody's in the same mindset, so that helps a lot to start conversations, and from there it's easy. Once I get into meeting people, the shyness goes away, and I get more relaxed around people, so that's it. It's easier that way.
So, Juan, I think you were talking about the warrior only events, which we do just for our warriors, where we get several hundred of our warriors together. And we've actually got, network like crazy. That's the biggest part of that event. And then we do deep dives on underwriting and stuff like that as well. But the next one's coming up in September. But you brought up the boot camp, and this will be the first time I've announced it. We've got a live 3-day boot camp coming up actually in Orlando, November 8th, 9th, and 10th. Okay. And, it'll be 3 days of training. Probably well over 1,000 people will be there. If you want to check it out, it's rodinorlando.com. It's super early bird pricing, so rodinorlando.com. So, all right, so you did that first deal as an LP. That was a 24 unit for 5.1 million in Miami, and again, I know the people you did. Why don't you talk about that deal a little bit? Do you have the numbers? Do you know the
Yeah,
rents and things
yeah.
like that? Yeah,
It was a 5.1 million deal, 24
hmm
units. It was seller finance. That's what made deal sweet. So we got, I think it was close to 6% interest only rate for 5 years. And yeah, that's what made the deal work basically. And we're going through the restructuring of the apartment units because the previous owner had all the units listed as 1-1, but half of them were 2-1s.
Hmm.
So, and most of the units are Section 8, which is housing assistance from the government.
Right.
So
Right.
once we acquired the property, we just went back to the Section 8 office and told them, hey, these units are 2-1, so you should be paying more rent for them. So they jacked up the price and made it. So they're in here in Florida, at least, they're trying to hit close to market rents with Section 8.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't even have to fix all the units, and we were getting above our projected rates. We so far we had only updated 2 units, so
Wow.
that the deal is working really good.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah,
And I see it looks like you think you actually will have created over $3 million in additional value just by these rent increases. Is that accurate?
that's on the Savannah deal.
Oh, that's Savannah. I was looking the wrong.
Yeah,
Oh, 1.8 million. 1.8 million. I
1.8.
see
Yeah,
that.
this is a
Still
smaller
Okay.
not
deal.
Okay.
bad.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
good.
better than a sharp stick in the eye.
Yeah.
You know, that's almost a 20% increase in value if you paid 5 million. So that's freaking awesome. All right, let's talk about the next one that you're a general partner in. You know, soup to nuts. How'd you find that? How'd you get involved in this Savannah deal? Tell us about it. What you paid for it. Your involvement. All of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I've been underwriting a lot of deals, and
Right.
a lot of warriors and other people come to me with deals that they don't want to underwrite, or they're a little bit complicated to underwrite. And they give it to me, or someone that are if they're trying to get into a deal and they want to make sure rerun the numbers. So that's how this deal came to me. One of my warrior friends brought it to me and said, "Hey, we're getting invited to work on this deal. Um, can you just do your underwriting and see how you land?" And I landed really close to the numbers that the lead sponsors did. So we were like, okay, we can work with them. We can do some due diligence with them. We can help raise capital and go and walk the apartments and the property. So that's what we did. So um, I contacted all my friends and family. I've never raised a dime, and we started doing some presentations with the people that was interested. Some of the new warriors were also coming to see the presentations that we did, and that's how we ended up raising enough capital that we and plus the all the due diligence that we did, we walked the properties and all that. We were able to make it to the GP side of the deal, and I also invested. It's a good deal. I also invested
Mm-hmm.
my own capital on it, so I'm in both sides, LP and GP. This was an
Fant-
176 units in Savannah.
mhm.
I love Savannah, so
Yeah.
that I also invested there because I used to drive from Florida to North Carolina and always stop in Savannah, and yeah, I loved it. So we went ahead. It's a 1984 build. We assumed the debt, so it's a 4.6% interest only until 2032.
Yeah,
So
it's
on that,
fantastic debt, fantastic vintage. 84 vintage is fine. You're not going to have many problems with that. I guess the price was 27.5 million. Is that
yeah,
correct?
yeah,
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to touch on
And
a couple things real quick before we moved on. You mentioned assumed loan and you mentioned owner finance on your previous deal, right? I would say those are two very, very common ways that people are making deals work right now with high interest rates. Obviously, the third way, in my opinion, that's popular is just buying a deal that makes sense at today's interest rates. But I'm curious because you mentioned these deals were both off market. How did you get that sort of creative financing? Was it pitched to you from the owner that, hey, I'd like to seller finance, I'd like to assign the loan, or was that something you guys got creative with to make the deal work? How did that process work?
yeah. The loan assumption was brought up by the seller and the broker that was trying to broker into the deal because that was the selling point for this property with such a good debt when the interest rates are way higher. So that was brought by them, and you put it into your underwriting, and then you do the projections and all that, and it would work. Also, the rents were below market, so we were gonna do that, and the the apartments were in a different state of updates. So we were able to manage the budget. Some of the apartments are just going to need about 5K or less in to update it, and some others are more. But all that, once if you're able to put all those numbers and the underwriting, then the deal ended up working. Yeah, and basically, the lead sponsor had a really good relationship with the broker, so they're able to get those off market deals. Yeah.
Now, how
Yeah.
about the owner finance? Was that also pitched as it that way, or did you guys suggest that to the
No,
owner?
he was an
Did you
LP. He
speak
was
to
an
that?
LP in that, so he was
Yeah.
an LP in that one. So
Can
he
you-
might
But
not
I
have been
think I
involved.
have a little bit of insight on that. On that one,
Okay.
they pitched it to the owner, and
Directly to the owner.
yeah, yeah.
No, that's fantastic. I will tell you. Do you know if the owner was a retiree?
I don't know if there was a retiree, but they owned the property for like 20 years.
Oh, they're definitely a retiree.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I teach in my boot camps is, you know, if you deal with somebody that's owned 20 years, they're older, they're a retiree. All of their tax benefits are gone. They're fully depreciated. So they have no write-offs anymore. And so when you encounter somebody like that, candidly, you're doing them a disservice if you don't have a conversation about seller financing. So let me describe what that conversation should look like. It's like, oh, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you know, we're buying your property for, you know, $1 million. And because of Uncle Sam, you're only going to end up with what, 650, 700,000 after you pay taxes. You know, and you're going to put that money in the bank, because most retirees are not going to put their money into another high risk investment. They want to put it in the bank and just have a return. And the bank at, you know, whatever it is now, 3.5%, 4% interest, your payment will be this. Once you put that 650, 700,000 in the bank, here's what your payment will be. And you want to work it out for them. That's super important. But then you say, listen, if you work with me, you know, I'll give you enough of a down payment so you know I'm serious, and I'll pay you, you know, whatever it is, whatever numbers work, I'll pay you 6, 7, 8, 9, 10% interest. Who cares if the numbers work? And you're only going to pay taxes on the amount that you receive from me every year. So your payment from me is at least double what you're going to get from the bank. And it usually is double or triple, frankly. And to give you some perspective on interest rates, you know, when I started this business, rates were 18%. And I remember getting thrilled when they hit 7 and 8%. Okay. So just to give you some contracts and some perspective, it's all about the numbers. If the numbers can make sense, I bought properties at 18% that made sense because we were renting them for 2% of what we paid for them. So, you know, keep in mind, it's all perspective. But seller financing is a fantastic way to do a deal. Again, we go into that in a lot more detail at the boot camps, but,
I want to add a quick tip on that real quick, because you mentioned the high interest. I know other warriors and some other people that have closed deals at very low interest rates and sometimes 0% interest rates for seller financing. And the way that you pitch it is, if you're going to refinance out on the deal in, let's say, 2-3 years, once you reposition it, rehab it, whatever, you say, hey, I can give you a higher price if we go at a lower interest rate, because I'm going to refinance you out in 2-3 years anyways. Would you rather get a higher price and get refinanced out and not collect the interest? Or I could give you a high interest and a lower price, but I'm going to refinance you out in 3 years anyways, and you're not going to collect that interest regardless. And most sellers think about that and think, oh, they're right, they're going to refinance me out, so why does it matter if I have a high interest rate? And I know other warriors that have gotten 0% interest from seller financing by using that direct strategy.
Me as well, and that is a fantastic strategy. And thank you for bringing that up, Mark, because I neglected to mention that, and that's a fantastic negotiation strategy. That's awesome. Thank you for bringing that up. So, what suggestions would you have for someone starting out in this business? You know, maybe they bought a house, they know they want to do multifamily, you know, maybe they're like you know, analytical, could be, you know, caught up in some analysis paralysis. And I love you if that's you, don't be offended. You're I mean, you can tell some of our best warriors, some of our best students are analytical. But what would you say to them that, you know, if they know they need to do something, give some advice.
I would say get mentorship. For me, the analysis paralysis, it's big, and it's easier when you see somebody else do it, or they can give you a little bit of hand holding, or you go and you see other people and you're in the environment, in the cloud of other people that are doing it, and you get excited. So that's how I did it. I started first going to different meetups for real estate, multifamily. Then boot camps or whatever it was, and I joined the water program, and you start building momentum,
Yeah.
and the knowledge is there. You're gonna start absorbing the knowledge. If you're analytical, you're gonna go into it anyway. Maybe sometimes too much. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I just go into
Yeah.
it too much, and that's so
As
mentorship
as
is
long
big.
as long as you don't stop, as long as you keep going and ultimately take action.
Yeah,
I tell
so that's
my
why I say
yeah,
when you're around other people that are not as analytical, they
yeah,
will help you, give you that the push
yeah.
so you can
Push.
jump into
Yeah.
the water. Yeah, because
Yeah.
if it
Yeah.
was just me, I would still analyzing
Still
that
be
stuff.
buried
Yeah,
in a spreadsheet. You'd still
yeah,
be
yeah,
buried in a spreadsheet, right? Yeah,
yeah,
and I tell you, if you're analytical and you're listening, let me give you an analogy, and that is you can drive all the way across the United States at night with your headlights only seeing 50 feet in front of you, and you'll make it across. You'll make it from Boston to L.A., but you may have some obstacles, but you'll make it because other people have made it before you. It's the same way with this business. So you just got to take that first step and keep moving. That's the key to this. No, and I love it. Start with your local meetup groups if you haven't done that already. Meet people that are doing this, and and then take a look at our Warrior program if you like. And if you're interested in checking that out, text the word crush to 72345. And has the Warrior program been a home run for you? You think,
yeah, yeah,
Juan?
a lot, a lot, a
Okay.
lot. That's where most, since I joined the warrior program, everything I've done is with warriors.
Yeah.
Before that, I was meeting people here and there, but sometimes it's hard to trust the warrior program. Bring Once you meet someone in the warrior program, I I trust them more.
Yeah.
And I would say also the analysis paralysis for me, at least at least it hasn't gone away. It's just that I'm analyzing something bigger now. Before I
Yeah.
was analyzing should I do it. Now I'm analyzing should I put an offer on these 346 units? Should
Yeah.
I invest here? Should I, so the analysis paralysis might never go away, but you're analyzing bigger things and you're moving into bigger things, and you're reaching goals, and now your goals are bigger.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So I know that uh, we had asked you to answer a question before we started doing this, and that was, at your current pace, what would it take? How many years would it take for you to reach financial freedom? And your definition of that was 150,000 a year, which is like, equal, takes out a salary or whatever. Talk about how you came up with what you came up with, investing as an LP and or a GP. I know you did a spreadsheet on this. Can you speak to it?
Yeah, so I wanted to know how long would it take me if I didn't have enough time or whatever, if I can just do it LP. So I got a bunch of different deals that I have seen, real deals, and I saw the numbers. I put them in a spreadsheet, and it turned out in about 5 years I would be able to replace 150K income.
And
That
and
means
investing how much? Hmm.
investing a third, so 50K. My idea was a third was going to go into taxes if you have a W-2. If you can avoid paying taxes, even better.
Hmm.
Then 50K are going to go into my living expenses, and 50K are going to go into investments, right? And I did 150K because my goal is to retire my wife. That's what I want to do. So that's 150K, and then in 5 years I'm going to be able to do it. But now if I want to do it faster, I want to do GPs, because
Yeah.
then at some point, once the GP distributions start hitting, then my income is going to go up and I'm going to be able to invest more, so it's going to just accelerate the process.
Yeah,
So
and you're able to get parts of acquisition fees, which are not
acquisition fees,
insignificant. We charge 3 to 5% typically as an acquisition fee. To give you an idea, and 5% on a $3 million deal, do the math, 150 grand. It's a $3 million deal is a very small deal. So, I know that doesn't sound small to you listening, but trust me, in our space, it is. So,
yeah.
yeah,
And I'm trying to get into my sponsor my own deals and into the asset management part of things, so I can also be involved in the asset management fee, and
yeah,
I actually
yeah.
enjoy doing that as well.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, you charge an asset management fee to manage the property management companies, guys, and it can be 2 to 3% of the gross income on the property. It's not insignificant either.
Yeah, I've
So,
been thinking, because I've been approached to do like the financial analysis of the asset management side of things. So I think I can get myself into those teams.
So let's talk about the future of multifamily here for a quick second. I know, Rod, I hear this on your socials all the time, shit's about to hit the fan, etc. And Juan, I know you talked about this briefly as well, the quote unquote looming crash everybody's been waiting for, right? Which in reality, over the past 2 years, multifamily already has come down anywhere from 20, 25, sometimes 30%, depending on whatever market you're in. What are you noticing in terms of changes that's been happening over the past 6, 12 months and moving forward in terms of brokers, sellers? What are the trends that you've been seeing in multifamily in general?
Yeah, I'll say a year ago, I will underwrite deals, and my offer price was like below 30% of price guidance or asking prices, right? Right now, I'm getting way closer. Sellers are realizing if they want to sell, they're gonna have to lower their expectations. Same brokers, they're realizing they're not selling the properties because they're trying to get too much for it. I mean, interest rates will drive the prices basically. If you're not making money, you won't buy the property. So I've been waiting, and I see it getting closer and closer and closer, where I've seen deals that they used to trade for 100K, and now they're asking is 60K per door.
Yeah,
So
we
right now
just
I'm
closed on a
underwriting
deal.
one.
Yeah, we just closed on a deal at a 40% discount, literally,
Awesome.
in San
Yeah,
Antonio.
congrats.
Yeah, yeah. And you're underwriting what? I'm sorry I interrupted you. Please continue that thought.
It's in Texas. I've seen a lot of Texas deals going down in prices, and yeah, they're asking 60K per door. 2 years ago, they were trading for 100K.
Yeah, is that the Houston deal that came across my desk?
I might be.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, I bet it is. That means yes. That means yes. We'll probably be competing against each other on. I don't know if I'm going to be interested in that one. We'll see.
Funny story on that. Over the past month or so, I don't know, Juan, if you've been noticing this. I've been seeing other warriors post this. Every time I've filled out now a confidentiality agreement on the broker's website to get the financials and everything, I'm now getting phone calls and voicemails every single time. And I spoke to one broker recently, and man, they're getting beat down. I've had a few brokers tell me they're only willing to take on deals that are seller financed or assumed debt. At this point, they're not even willing to take on other deals. And I had a conversation last week with a broker, and he just seemed really beat down. He picked up the phone and, hey, how's it going? It just seems like they're not getting much business right now. So
sales are down. Sales are down. Yeah. Sales are down 90% right now. Sales are down 90%. So they don't make money if nothing's selling. Okay. And they're on a total commission basis. So unless they stockpiled some cash, you're going to see less and less brokers too. And this is what happens when there's a market correction like this. So let me share. Go ahead.
I was going to tell you, a year ago, 2 years ago, I wouldn't get a phone call back. It was so hard to get a broker on the phone to answer questions about a property, just to tell me what's the price guidance, and they won't reply. Those same brokers are calling me, leaving voicemails. They're hunting me now. So
it's
coming here.
And your email is slammed, where you'd get a handful of, I get dozens now a week, deals coming across. We just put an offer in on a deal that looks fantastic in Texas too. If you're accredited, text the word partner to 72345 or go to creecapital.com. Check out the deal. There's still some slots left in that deal we just closed on. Screaming deal, 40% discount. Not quite 40%, but damn close. But yeah, we're starting to see some deals now. So now listen, Juan, are you okay with listeners reaching out to you?
Yeah,
if they've got questions.
Yeah, I'm always open. I always want to hear from people.
Okay. So what's your it's bluepathholdings.com?
Yeah, bluepathholdings.com. That's our website. I have a blog. I put something out there every Friday, and my
nice.
YouTube channels is Blue Path Holdings. Instagram is Blue Path Holdings, and just my name in Facebook, Juan David Cruz. Yeah, you'll find me there.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on the show, brother. It's good to see you, and I'm sure we'll see you in September and then probably again in November.
For sure. I love going to the boot camps, even if they're not only warriors, because I love meeting people.
Yeah, for sure. All right, buddy. Thank you. It's good to see you, my friend.
Thanks,
Mark. I'll see you later. Thanks, guys. All right. Awesome.
Bye.
So one other quick thing. We encounter so many people that are frankly frustrated. You know, they're looking in the mirror and they're frustrated that they haven't been able to escape the rat race. They haven't been able to build cash flow to the point where they're able to have financial and time freedom with their families. You know, and maybe they see other people buying real estate and creating, you know, incredible cash flow, and they think, well, it's just scary. You know, buying apartments is intimidating. And I get it. See, that's why we created our Warrior Mentorship Program. They're our coaching students, and they've had extraordinary results. My students, I've been teaching about 5 years, and they own upwards of 140,000 units now that we know of, right? And we feel like it's just getting going. Now, we're looking to grow this group and really take it to the next level. And honestly believe that the greatest transfer of wealth could be upon us right now with this current economic environment. Everything's going on sale. So we're looking for people who want to follow a proven framework, really like a blueprint or a map, literally step by step. And then they're able to leverage our systems and our incredible network to raise money and equity, to find deals and close those deals and build partnerships, really nationwide. So if you're interested in finding out more about how you can become more in our incredible network and take advantage of the unbelievable opportunities that are upon us, you can apply to my Warrior Mentorship Program by texting the word CRUSH to 72345, or you can go to mentorwithrod.com. And what we'll do is we'll set up a call so you can check us out and we can check you out and see if it's a fit. Now, again, you can go to mentorwithrod.com or text the word CRUSH to 72345 to apply, and we will speak soon.